Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into a really quite remarkable narrative.
A really powerful one.
Absolutely. It challenges how we think about resilience, about, well, rebirth, really. Our source is this story, Born from Broken, a story of rebirth.
And it's not your typical hero's journey.
No, not at all. It's about, and I'm quoting here, a man who died every night and still woke up.
Wow.
So our mission here is to sort of unpack the surprising facts, the insights from this account, to really understand what it means to find strength when you're in the deepest despair. Okay, so the story starts in an old city alley. We meet this anonymous figure.
Described as a whisper of a man.
Exactly. Torn clothes, but eyes like sharp as steel, but tired. You get this immediate contrast. And then when he's asked about his past, he says something that just stops you in your tracks.
What's that?
He says, hell, I've been to hell and I built a home there.
Okay, that statement alone, it just completely subverts what you expect, doesn't it?
Building a home in hell.
It's more than just survival talk. It sounds like, well, what some might call radical acceptance. Taking ownership of the suffering.
Not just enduring it.
No, finding a foundation within the pain itself. It immediately signals this shift, away from being a victim towards, towards creating something, even at rock bottom. Fascinating.
It definitely makes you lean in, want to know how someone gets to that point. And he does share some of it. He talks about a time before this hell.
A different life.
Completely. He says, I had it all. A job, a house, a woman who loved me. Pretty standard picture of a good life.
Okay. So what happened?
Then he says, one phone call changed everything.
Oh, no.
Yeah, car crash, she didn't make it, I didn't even say goodbye. Just like that, gone.
That suddenness,
Yeah.
the lack of closure, that's incredibly tough. Psychologically, that kind of abrupt, unresolved grief can be absolutely shattering.
He describes the aftermath, losing himself to drinks, the pills, the silence, and he emphasizes the kind of silence that screams when you're alone.
That internal screaming.
Yeah. Days turning into weeks, months, seeing a ghost in the mirror.
That really captures what some researchers call existential despair. It's not just sadness. The loss attacks your whole sense of self, your purpose.
She died in spirit every night, as the source puts it.
Exactly. A kind of spiritual death. Life loses its meaning. Even if, physically you're still there, it raises questions about how deep that kind of death can actually go.
And he went deep, really deep. He talks about trying to end his life.
More than once.
Yeah, not once, not twice. But then he makes this really stark observation. He says, life is a cruel son of a bitch. It won't let you go that easy.
There's almost a defiance in that, isn't there? Even in despair.
There is. He even screamed at the sky, take me! In the sky, it stayed quiet.
That silence, it's pivotal, isn't it? You said earlier he built a home in hell. This silence, it seems like it was both the destruction and maybe the foundation.
That's exactly how he frames it. The silence broke him, but it's also what built him.
That's fascinating, that duality. Because for so many, that silence, that cosmic indifference, it just crushes them completely. What makes the difference? Why did it build him?
Well, according to the story, something happened in that silence. He heard a whisper.
Not from the sky, though.
No. His own voice saying, not yet, not like this.
Wow. So an internal spark.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a conscious choice to live, not at first. He describes it as something inside refused to stay down. He got up not because he wanted to, but because this thing inside just wouldn't quit.
That speaks to something really deep, doesn't it? That inherent resilience, maybe a kind of self-preserving instinct that kicks in even when conscious will is gone.
Like a bedrock layer.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
not about external motivation. Clearly that was gone. It's this almost primal refusal to just stop.
That unbreakable core we perhaps all have that activates when everything else is stripped away.
And once that spark ignited, the climb began. But it wasn't easy. Far from it.
I can only imagine. He describes it as grueling, step by painful step. One breath at a time, one cracked knuckle, one cold shower, one rejection, one setback at a time.
Just relentless forward motion, however small.
Right. And through all that hardship, he felt a change. He said he was broke, but I was becoming unbreakable.
Forged in the fire.
Literally. He talks about the practical side, too. Working 2 jobs, slept on floors, ate from bins, just pure survival mode.
What kept him going through that?
His motivation was because the world had seen his worst and he wasn't done yet. A refusal to let that be the end of his story. And this whole process, this climb, it led him to redefine himself completely. He says, I'm not a survivor, I'm a creator.
That is a huge distinction. Survivor implies you just made it through. Creator implies you built something.
Exactly. His philosophy became, I didn't just survive the fall, I built a new world at the bottom.
That's powerful. That really speaks to what psychologists sometimes call post-traumatic growth. It's not just recovery, getting back to baseline. It's using the destruction itself.
As building blocks.
Precisely. Leveraging the fall to create something new, maybe even something stronger or more meaningful than before. It really challenges the whole idea of what recovery means, doesn't it? Is it just getting back, or is it transformation?
A really important question. And for him, this transformation led to a new purpose.
How so?
Well, today he teaches. He helps kids, from broken homes, like he maybe felt he came from internally.
Yeah.
Gives speeches to men who feel like they're finished.
Passing on what he learned in the hell he made his home.
Exactly. And the core message he shares, the truth he found. The ones who rise are the ones who refuse to stay dead.
Refuse to stay dead. Not just refuse to die, but refuse to stay in that state of spiritual death.
Yeah. So wrapping this up, what we've really seen in this deep dive is, well, the sheer power of that internal decision, that choice to fight for rebirth when everything screams that it's over.
It's incredibly empowering, I think. The idea that even when you feel dead inside, rebirth is possible. But it hinges on that choice, right? That fight for one more breath, activating that deep resilience.
He died every night and still woke up. And the implication is, so can you.
Right.
So maybe something for you, the listener, to think about. What new world could you potentially build at your own low point? How might you transform struggle into creation?
And how do you choose to fight for that final breath when things feel impossible?
Because, as this story really hammers home, we all fall. But only the brave are born from broken.